Imagine standing at the edge of a hurricane, the winds howling around you, the rain lashing against your skin, and there you are, clad in a sandwich board. You might think it's a bold statement, a brave act of defiance against the storm, but let's pause for a moment and consider the physics at play. The first thing to understand is that friction is an omnipresent force, always lurking in the background, ready to slow you down. When you run into a hurricane, the air itself becomes a thick, viscous barrier. The winds whip around you, creating turbulence, and that turbulence generates drag, a force that opposes your motion. Now, drag is a fascinating concept. It's not just about how fast you're moving, it's about how the shape of your body interacts with the fluid around you. As you run, you're not just pushing against the air, you're pushing against a wall of resistance. The faster you go, the more air molecules collide with you, and that collision creates an increase in drag. This is why running into a hurricane while wearing a sandwich board is not just a physical challenge, but a near impossible feat. The board itself adds surface area, increasing the drag force acting against you. You're not just fighting the wind, you're fighting the very shape of your own clothing. Let's delve deeper into the concept of terminal velocity. When an object falls through a fluid like air, it experiences two primary forces, the force of gravity pulling it downward and the drag force pushing upward. Initially, when you start falling, gravity dominates. You accelerate, gaining speed. However, as your speed increases, so does the drag force. Eventually, a point is reached where the drag force equals the gravitational force. At this moment, you stop accelerating and continue falling at a constant speed. This is terminal velocity. Now, terminal velocity isn't a one-size-fits-all number. It varies based on several factors, particularly the shape and area of the object. A skydiver in a freefall position, streamlined and sleek, has a much higher terminal velocity than a person spread eagle or, say, someone wearing a sandwich board. The sandwich board, with its larger surface area, creates more drag. The shape matters too. A flat object will experience more air resistance than a more aerodynamic one. Consider a skydiver wearing a jumpsuit versus one wearing a bulky winter coat. The jumpsuit minimizes the surface area exposed to the wind, allowing for a higher terminal velocity. In contrast, the winter coat increases drag, slowing the descent. This is why we can't just throw any object off a building and expect it to fall at the same speed. A feather floats gently to the ground, while a rock plummets. The feather's broad surface area and light weight create significant drag relative to its mass, while the rock's compact shape and density allow it to overcome drag more effectively. So, when you think about running into a hurricane with a sandwich board, it's not just a matter of physical endurance. It's a battle against the very principles of physics. The winds howl, the rain pours, and the drag force mounts. Your body, encumbered by the board, is fighting not just the storm but the fundamental laws of motion and resistance. It's a stark reminder that in the face of nature's fury, even the most determined spirit can be humbled by the relentless forces of friction and drag. You may have the will to run, but the universe has its own plans, and those plans are dictated by the physics of motion. In the end, the hurricane wins, not just because of its ferocity, but because of the simple, unyielding truth that friction and drag are always there, slowing us down, reminding us of our limits.